is going on, my fellow collectors? How is everybody doing today? Daredevil19 here, and today in this video we will be discussing what I feel like are the top 5 worst SH Figuarts DBZ figures that are in the line right now. And this is just my own personal opinions of what I feel like are the worst figures. Some of them might be your favorites, some of them you might agree with. That's just how it is. Everybody has their own opinions about stuff. And I'm not saying these figures are bad and horrible figures in general. I'm just saying out of all the figures in the SH Figuarts DBZ line, these are the weakest links. So I'm doing a top 5 list, but I do have a 6th figure on here that didn't make the top 5 list, but it would come in right at number 6. And starting it off at number 6 is a figure we really do need a 2.0 version of, and that is the manga version Super Saiyan Goku. It's just an extremely outdated figure. It hasn't held up that well over time also, and it's just, I have a lot of loose joints on it. The right hands always pop off the wrist peg so easily. Same with the head, that always pops off the neck peg all the time, and it's really annoying. And also, it has such a limited amount of accessories. I think we get, what, like 5 interchangeable hands and 2 interchangeable faces, and that's it. That's all you get with that Goku. And I don't understand that, because Piccolo released first, and he came with a decent amount of accessories. And then Gohan was after Goku. He also came with a decent amount of accessories as well. So I don't understand why the Super Saiyan Goku just had such limited accessories. I think he does come with the least amount of accessories out of all the figures we have gotten in this line so far, and that Super Saiyan Goku just needs an updated version. I can wait a little while for it because I'd rather get more characters in the line, but we all know, and I believe Tamashii Nations knows as well, that it does need an updated 2.0 version, which I think we will see very soon, and I feel like he's going to be very cheap, just like the new 2.0 powered down version Goku that we will be getting this summer. So that is my number 6 pick, the original manga Super Saiyan Goku. And coming in at number 5, starting off the actual list, is another original version of a character in this line, which is the Super Saiyan Vegeta. And thankfully we already did get a 2.0 version of Vegeta, the Super Saiyan version of course, which we desperately needed, because that original version, you could tell it was one of the first figures they ever made. It's just an outdated body mold, outdated articulation, a lot of joints got kind of loose. Not too many, mainly the waist joint. That was the worst part about that figure. You couldn't get any good torso or waist articulation because there was no torso movement. You just had that weird waist joint that you could shift up a little bit, but it barely moved. You know what I mean? And it was so loose. Even when you shifted it back down, it was always just a loose waist joint, which sucked. And the faces weren't the best. They're much better with the 2.0 version. I feel like the ankle articulation on that Vegeta is actually better than the ankle movement on the 2.0 version. But you really couldn't get that Vegeta in the best poses. You can get him in some poses, but you really couldn't get him in really good dynamic type poses. You know what I mean? Like if you articulated his legs out to the side, he wouldn't stay flat-footed with the ankle pivot. It's just an outdated figure, and Tamashii Nations knew it. That's why they made it the 2.0 version. So that is my number 5 pick. Now coming in at number 4, a lot of you are probably not going to be happy with my number 4 pick, but I feel like this is one of the weakest figures in the SH Figuarts DBZ line, and it is the Xenoverse 2 version of Trunks. Yeah, the faces look so much better compared to the future Trunks, and the sculpt of it looked pretty good. We did have the bicep swivel, so you can get the two-handed sword poses going down, but below that, the waist down, you had the worst articulation. Not just worst, it's the legs got hindered, and the ankle articulation was just horrendous. That figure has the worst ankle articulation I have ever seen on a SH Figuarts DBZ figure, along with Yamcha. They both had the worst ankle movement I've ever seen out of any of the figures in this line. And that Trunks, his leg articulation would be great, but for some reason Tamashii Nations wanted to make the lower portion of his jacket a really hard type of plastic, so you couldn't use his leg articulation, and you couldn't put him in any cool, like, dynamic type poses that you would want to put Trunks into. I had more fun posing around the future Trunks compared to the Xenoverse one. I ended up selling my Xenoverse Trunks because it just wasn't that fun of a figure. You could pretty much only stand him in just a regular standing pose, and that was really it. That's why I feel like it's one of the weaker Link figures in the SH Figuarts DBZ line, and that's why it made it onto my list. Yeah, it has the updated face sculpts and everything, but if you're not going to have good articulation on a figure, it's not going to be a fun figure to pose around. So that is my number 4. Now coming in at number 3 here, this one is also a newer release, just like the Xenoverse Trunks, and that is Wiese. Now Wiese really didn't come with too many accessories. Yeah, we got interchangeable hands and faces and his staff, but they could have included like some different types of food with Wiese, you know what I mean? I don't know why they didn't include that with the figure. To me, that was pretty disappointing. And then another thing, his articulation from the waist down, just like with Xenoverse Trunks, was horrible. It was horrendous and hindered because the lower portion of his robe was just a straight up hard piece of plastic, unlike the Xenoverse Trunks. So you couldn't use Wiese's leg articulation at all, and his ankle movement is pretty bad too. Everything else, I think they did an awesome job with Wiese, and I like having the figure in my collection, but I don't understand why they made the lower portion of his the lower portion of his robe a hard plastic. I don't know why they did that. They could have made it a soft, rubbery type plastic, like what Gar's lower portion of his robe is. I don't know why they didn't do that with the Xenoverse Trunks as well. To me, it's just mind-baffling. I don't understand some of the stuff they do sometimes with certain figures, and those are the reasons why Wiese did make it on my list, even though he's a cool figure. Like I said, I'm not saying these are bad figures in general. I'm just saying they are the weakest links in the SH Figuarts DBZ line. Alright, so now for the last 2 figures here. Coming in at number 2 is another original figure, which was actually one of the first 3 figures released in the line, and that is the manga version, Cell Saga Gohan. It's just an outdated figure. The faces, I hated the way the faces looked. They put like freckles on his faces, and it just looks stupid. But he did come with a decent amount of accessories, which is definitely cool, but the figure doesn't really hold up that well. Plus you got some loose joints, especially the waist. Yes, such a loose waist joint. I don't understand. Those waist joints were just really bad. Vegeta had the same issue as well. And the Gohan, it's just an outdated figure, and I remember it had a bad QC issue as well. When they first released the figure, I never had that QC issue, but then when I got the San Diego Comic-Con anime accurate colored Gohan, there was a QC issue. When you would swivel the bicep, the elbow joint would pop apart, and it would get so frustrating. When they did the reissue of the manga version of the Cell Saga Gohan, he had that same issue. When you would swivel the bicep, the arms would pop right off the elbow joints, and I don't understand why that was happening. So that's another reason why I put this figure on the list as well, because out of all the DBZ figures, that Gohan was one of the ones that did have a QC issue. Alright, so that's number 2. Now for the number 1 pick here, I know a lot of people are going to agree with this. It is the original version of the Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and mainly because of the color scheme. I don't know who the hell decided to go with that color scheme, but that was such a bad choice. Bad choice by them. I'm guessing they most likely fired that person after they got responses of how that figure looked and when people got it, what people thought of it, just because of that color scheme. It was just such a poor choice, man. I mean, it had really cool accessories, and I did love that aura effect. That's the one thing I'm not happy with, that they didn't include with the 2.0 version of the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. But another issue with the Super Saiyan 3 Goku, not just the original, but the 2.0 version, is the figure is very back heavy because of how heavy the hair is. That was another downside to that figure, but mainly just the color scheme of that figure was just, oh my god, horrendous. I never wanted to get that figure. Once I got it the first time and sold it, I never wanted to get it again because the color scheme was just so ugly, and even the faces look really bad too. So yeah, that's definitely my number 1. I know it's a lot of people's number 1 as well, but anyway, that is my top 5 worst SH Figuarts DBZ figures. Let me know in the comments below what your top 5 worst SH Figuarts DBZ figures are as well. That's my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to support the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click on that notification bell. And if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, just give it a thumbs up anyway because action figures are awesome. But thanks for watching. I will see you later.